What's up, family? Listen, it's a great day. I want to welcome you to our second marathon, right? Or telethon, marathon, whatever you want to call it, kind of a time where we are, I guess it wouldn't be a telethon, but we are spending our day just celebrating Black men. I've got my boy that's in the Black room waiting to come on. Name is Dr. Leroy McKenzie. He will be on. He is the chapter leader for Baltimore, Maryland. And so he's gonna come on. I got brothers coming on throughout the day, just celebrating Black men and celebrating the work of Black men, because you know how it is. We don't really get a whole lot of play. Let's see if I can do this. We don't get a whole lot of play with regard to how Black men are accomplishing and so on and so forth. And so I wanted to make sure that we celebrate International Remand Day. Now this is not a game. This really is a codified day, right? What's up? It just says Facebook user. Tell me where you guys are watching from, what platform are on you. I see you on Facebook. Are you inside my community, inside the Remand community? Are you watching from or what kind of brother comes on with his hat backwards for a celebration of a day? This is just how we do it. So let me know where you're watching from, who you are, put your name, because all I can see is Facebook user. Unfortunately, if you don't have StreamYard, then all I can see is Facebook user. Did I weigh my breakfast? Yeah. I haven't eaten breakfast. I hope this ain't Coach. Because if it's my coach, he's gonna kill me. I haven't eaten breakfast. I'm fresh off of a fast. Fresh off of a fast, and being fresh off of a fast, I've got to kind of move myself in slowly to getting back into my routine. You know that I've been on a blackout for a pretty good length of time. And so that is why I have not weighed my food yet. I did weigh my food last night, but I haven't weighed my food yet. So I've got us functioning. My boy Leroy is here, and he's going to come on in a minute. We're also going to be on Instagram for some portions of the day. Leroy, you able to do both, man? I can't hear you yet. So just kind of type it in the chat for me, man, because I don't have you live yet. So just kind of type it in the chat. Let me see if I can go on Instagram at the same time. Let's see what we can do. Ba 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 ba. Okay, cool. Cool. Let me see. I think I can. Um, yeah, we just gonna have this massive way of doing this today. Um, let's see, massive way of handling this. If you where you are watching from, please tell me where you are. Um, are you the person that put did I weigh my breakfast? Let me know who you are. The person that put all the fire, hey doc, LOL, so on and so forth. Just kind of put it in the chat for me, please, just so I'll know who's who. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on even with my. Okay, let's do it up here. There we go. Let's put the details. It's International Remands Day. International Remand Day. Um, All right, so I'm over here now. Or modern technology is a beast. So I'm over here now on Instagram. So good to see you guys for International Remand Day. Ronnie Francois, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. I'm getting ready to add Leroy on. Um, Leroy, you ready, man? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready, bro. All right, cool. Let me add you to the stream. What's up, man?
Bro.
Listen, well, first of all, this is what we do. This is what you and I do. We just doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it at a high level today. Those of you that are watching me by Instagram, welcome to International Remand Day. And what's crazy is Remand has its own day. Um, I think that is kind of monumental in and of itself. The fact that June 1st is Remand Day, and I'll give more information about that a little later. Leroy McKenzie, what's good, man?
Man, you better turn that hat backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
Keep that hat backwards, bro.
listen.
That's what we do.
We do. Let me do it this way. That's what we do, man. Yeah, I'm gonna turn my hat on backwards. I'm a I'm gonna show up like the brother that I am. Let's see if I can't. I don't know, man. I don't know whether I'm gonna be able to do it long term or not, but
Yeah.
we'll see what's up. What's good with you, man? Everything well?
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna tell you because you were talking about weighing your food and coming out of the blackout, right?
Yeah.
Because I just when we had spoke a little earlier, I just come from my walk,
Okay.
right? I just come from my walk, and I stepped on the scale the other day because I hadn't been on the scale in a minute. So I we've talked about being at our ideal weight, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so um, towards the end of last year, I had some work that I was doing for insurance policy that I had, right?
Yes, sir.
And so I had to get weighed back then. And
Yes.
I'd started I'd been going for several months because and I always shout her out because I love her to pieces. She is a phenomenal woman. But her name is Coach Marcy, um, Phoenix Tribe Fitness. So she had this challenge that she put out, right? She
Yes.
wanted folks that were in her community and everything to walk for 30 minutes.
Okay.
I've been wanting to get back to walking for a long time. So she kind of gave me that little kick in the butt that we always talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we did.
For sure.
So did that, started walking, and I knew the path that I was going to be walking is it's an hour, it's 30 minutes up, 30 minutes back. I was like, that's cool. That's exactly what I need. So started doing that, and by the time I'd taken the got on the scale, I'd lost 10 pounds.
Whoa.
So yeah, and this was within about 4 to 6 months. I'd lost 10 pounds.
Okay.
So she and I had talked and everything like that, and I've been following her and everything like that. And so I said, hey, I gotten into a couple of things and was able to get into her program. So she had written out food, how to go about meal prepping and doing
Yes,
things
sir.
like that,
Yes,
which
sir.
was phenomenal. It was actually phenomenal. So I've been doing that. And
Yeah.
so the other day, stepped on the scale, bruh, and I lost another five pounds. So I'm down. Let me tell you, just under a year. When I started, I was 154.
Okay.
I'm down to 141.
Outstanding, man. Good work, boy.
I was like, the first thing I did was I sent her. I was like, hey Mo, I was like, hey Marcy, I was like, I just want to thank you
Yeah.
for all that you've done for me and being able to get
Yeah.
me to that, because that was my ideal weight, was like 140. I was like, I don't know
Mhm.
if I want to go below that. I
Yeah.
said, because I ain't trying to look like look like I need to eat a
Yeah,
hamburger or
man.
something like
That's what people start whispering.
that.
People start whispering. They start making all kind of crazy
you
comments.
know.
those of you that are watching by Instagram, let me know who you are, where you're watching from. If you can hear me clearly, do me a favor, type it in the chat. Say, yeah, we hear you. It's a party.
Absolutely.
International Remand Day is a party. And a part of the work that we do, I mean, we spend every waking moment of every single day thinking about ways we can serve and empower Black men. And we've got some things that are coming up where we are branching out and doing more and so on and so forth. And so you're going to hear more about that. But I'm just incredibly excited. Do me a favor, those of you that are watching here on Facebook, here on YouTube, here on Instagram. Um, listen, man. I genuinely believe that this is the way the Lord will return. We will see Him on social media. We ain't gotta go to Jerusalem. We ain't gotta go nowhere, right? We'll be able to see Him on social media. So I need all of you to share, to like, to share, right? And this is not going to be anything kind of structured. We just really want to celebrate the fact that we have made it another year. A moment ago, my lady, my wifey, my beautiful, sent me a text and she said, "Hey, babe, happy fourth anniversary for
Wow.
ReManned," right? And so I was like, "Oh, thank you, babe." Made a brother tear up a bit, Leroy, because um, you and I talk pretty much every day about ways in which you're inside the program. You're the chapter leader for ReManned Baltimore. You got a lot going on, and we do this work because somebody, bro, and I want you to talk about this. Uh, Somebody has to lift brothers, and here's the reason for me. I have a feeling it's the reason for you as well, but it's the reason for me. You can't address a society and its healing and hope unless and until you are willing to address adult men. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work any other way. And I don't come for any organization, any organization that is doing great work with sisters and young people and so on and so forth. I celebrate that work. We are not the only game in town. But I will tell you this, while that work is going on and that work is important, Leroy, what we have seen over and over again is the fact that you can do that work and ignore Black men to your own detriment, right? That you cannot envision a world where our societies and cultures and communities get better unless and until you are willing to address adult Black males and the needs of adult Black males. And we're going to talk about what those needs are too over the course of today. We're going to be in and out. We're going to do the pop-up thing. We're going to pop up for half hour, chill for 15 minutes, pop up for 2 hours, chill for 10 minutes. It's going to be crazy. So I know that is not the best way to market anything, right? People, my podcast guy was telling me earlier today, he said, man, you got to make sure you're consistent, right? But I like to pop up and pop up and pop up and keep you guessing when the boy is going to be live, right? So talk a bit, man, about the importance of brothers, Leroy, and our contribution to a healthy society.
Well, first I'm gonna start off by saying this, bro, and I did it in my video that I talked a little bit ago. We think differently.
Yeah.
Thinking different, so that not doing, having the structure. I get it. That's cool and everything, but there are times when we as entrepreneurs have to have a 21st century mindset,
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that 21st century mindset is thinking outside the box.
for sure.
But in response to what you were saying about us as men,
Yes.
You are super 100% accurate. The Our community, and you say this all the time, our community does not get better until the adult black men get better.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we're not healed, if we don't get I ain't gonna say it, I'll let you say it
Yeah. Yeah.
together.
If we don't get our shit together, be clear. Leroy don't cuss. I cuss. If we don't get our shit together, then we cannot expect anything to get better. And here's the deal to your point, man. And again, I'm not coming for any organization that does other work, but I am saying this. We have watched, you and I, other people, right? We have watched um, the elevation, promotion, support of our sisters. And I think it's necessary, right? So I'm not saying we need not support our sisters. We do. Those of us that are ReManned men understand the importance of addressing. Man, I'm coming off of IG. I'm gonna just share here with you because all they're gonna be able to do is watch, right? Um, I'm saying that every organization that does that work is important. It's important, Leroy. Let's not act like it's not important to
Correct.
support our sisters because it
Correct.
is. As men, being men and having families, being married and raising children and running businesses, right? Much of the work that we do, we would not be able to do at a heightened level if it wasn't for our wives. That's just real talk. When you got a for real boo, when you got a for real girlfriend, you got a for real wifey, listen, she makes life easier. So I'm not at all saying that we don't need to support our sisters. I'm not saying that we don't need to support young people because we do, right? We need to make sure that they are given the best possible chance to succeed in life. Absolutely. Here's my dilemma though, and I want you to talk through it. You and I usually disagree in some areas, and that's what makes all of this fun, right? That even I'll talk about that in a moment. Haven't we noticed yet that while we are seeing our sisters elevate, and we should celebrate that. While we are seeing our young people addressed, and we should celebrate that. Haven't we noticed that when you do either of those two things or both of those two things and never address men, things still don't change? They do not change when you just address sisters. They do not change when you just address young people. They do not change when you address young people and sisters. They only change when you start to address adult black males. Talk to me, Doc. What's your thoughts, man?
Ooh-wee, bruh. You chose violence this morning. You talk.
It's Remand. It's International Remand Day. Either I'm going to be a man about it or I'm not going to be a man.
Woo! I mean, I totally, that is so, and you made me even have to sit back and be like, well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I know people may say, I think part of that is intentional,
Oh, yes, sir.
you know, and I think that society can want to ignore it if they want to, and
Yes,
they have,
yes,
but there are those of us who say, hey, we see what's going on. We know what the solution is
yeah,
because here's the thing, and you say this: if you heal that man, he in turn does what with his
he
family. He in
absolutely,
turn does with his kids.
absolutely,
Those issues that we talk about that they have, now I ain't gonna say necessarily go away,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
they
yeah.
become less burdensome
Yes.
for the community because you now have that other piece that needs to be a part of solving
Yeah,
those two problems, bro.
yeah. And
I'm
and,
just
and
saying.
a part of that, man, is a part of that. Shout out to Miles Monroe, right? He made a
Mm,
statement that shifted my thinking about it all. He said a part of the problem is because we view ourselves as head of the house,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
The problem with that is we are not really just head of the house.
Right,
We
right.
are the foundation of the house,
Mm,
right? So what that means, Leroy, is a part of the reason why we have ReManned Day, International ReManned Day around the world. It's going to be it started in Wilmington, Delaware in 2019. ReManned started. What's up, Christ All Things? Tell me who that is. Christ All Things. Good to see you. Are you watching from inside the community? Are you watching on my page? Are you watching on Leroy's page? Where are you watching from? I need to know. A part of it is a part of the reason why we celebrate International Remand Day is because listen, let's be clear, man. Everything that has to do with men and the celebration thereof has been co-opted, right? You watching on my page. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor, Christ All Things. Share it for me, please. Share it so that we can get as many viewers as we possibly can.
is it shareable from your page? From your page, not inside the group.
It's shareable from my business page.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, so a part of it, bruh, is let's just kind of look at holidays. I just want to go to the reason why we have this day. All right, let's go to holidays. You and I know that Father's Day is coming up. I am a father. I'm a father of three. Um, my lady has four children, right? Um, I've been a dad since 19 years old. So I was a teenage dad, right? And this is this is the deal across the board. It's not just my experience. I'm sure it's other brothers' experience as well, Leroy. Here's Pastor Vance. What's up, man? Good to see you, dude. Hey Vance, if you got a minute, I want you to come on here. I can send you the link to your messenger or what have you. But I want you to come on here talk about brothers. So Leroy, when Mother's Day comes around, bro, let's
Yeah, you ain't heard no punches this morning.
listen. It's
No
remand
punches.
day. It's remand
Just,
day.
just straight right crosses. Straight right crosses.
I'm bobbing and moving, right? um, for Mother's Day, Leroy, the restaurants are packed.
Absolutely.
The jewelry stores are overwhelmed, right? It's like mid-year Christmas. You start talking about mom. Oh my God. And shout out to my precious, my mom. She passed away on February the 4th of this year. My precious, my angel. I miss her like crazy. Hey, Leroy, the other day, and I'm not gonna chase this rabbit because I'm gonna start crying, right? But the other day, Sunday, I just drove to the store and in the car screamed and cussed the entire way.
Wow.
I just miss that chick so much, man, that all
Yeah.
I could do was I miss you, right? And so I know the impact of moms. I know the impact of my mom on my life. I get it. But a month later, a month later, Leroy, when it comes Father's Day, the restaurants are like ghost towns.
You you you, you ain't even got to make a reservation. You
You
just
ain't gotta
walk
make no
in.
reservation. Just listen. I called the restaurant and said, "Hey, uh, just to kind of do an experiment. Say, hey, I want to come in." It's like, "Oh, come in. We don't have no wait. There's no wait, right? You can get a seat because there is no appreciation
Mm.
for men, black men in particular. Now, you know, I don't really speak for white men because I'm not a white man. My target is to celebrate, to empower, to change the narrative of black men. That's my assignment. Somebody else can have the assignment with white men and do. Garrett J. White, which is a phenomenal brother, a white guy doing great things with white guys. That's just not my call. My call is to black men, right? So when we start talking about Leroy, the fact that we are underappreciated, we are under celebrated, nobody's waiting in line to clap and to be excited. No one is doing that. What do you think has to happen, man, in order for brothers who are doing the work, brothers that are stand-up cats, brothers that are taking care of their families, brothers that are just kind of juggling life, leadership, and legacy. They're juggling business, juggling family, juggling their personal lives, and don't get no play. What do you think it's going to take for us to change that?
Well, I think the shift can come when brothers like you, when brothers like ourselves, where we kind of make a command and a demand. Let me explain to you what I mean by command and demand. I'm doing these 10 commands of entrepreneurship and leadership, but there's a command that comes with being remanned.
Yes, sir.
There's a command that you command that as a man you're gonna do A B C D E
Yes.
if you're gonna be remanded.
Yes.
This is the ticket for how you
Yes.
become remanded.
Yes.
And then on the demand side, once you've gone through the commanding, and I meet the where life, legacy, and leadership connect, which
Yes.
is that sweet spot that you
That small
call
sweet spot.
that small sweet spot.
Right.
When you're there, we're going to acknowledge you. We're going to show you that you can demand
Yeah.
that you are who you say you are, the man that other people say that they want to see. Well, hey, here's an example of that very man that you're talking about. So instead of saying that there aren't men out here like that doing this, there aren't men who are this, here's an example of
Yeah.
those men. And
Yeah.
it's your responsibility talking about other people to say, you know what, nah, I can't just talk about that there aren't any good men out there. I've got to show I've got to show that there are men that are the example,
Yes, sir.
and that we shine the light on them.
Yes, sir.
Put the light. We as a society as a whole, focuses on the negativity. We've talked about it all the time. I don't have to watch the news because I can tell you the hour news is 55 minutes of negativity, and they may give you 5 minutes of positive stuff going on.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
the same way that it is when it comes to us as black men. They want to talk about the 55 minutes of negative men that are out here. And oh yeah, well by the way, yeah, there are some good men out here. Let's throw them in there too.
Yeah, they're we're
Yeah,
afterthoughts, right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
prominent and predominant conversation is about how men ain't handling their business, violence, making babies, all those kinds of things. And then, oh, by the way, but there are some good men out here.
Right.
And my
Yeah. Oh, by the way. Right.
my frustration with that is we don't do that to sisters. We don't do that.
Ooh.
And the truth is, Leroy, there are some jacked up sisters out here too.
And, but here's the thing, and you just said it. That because the jacked up sisters become the afterthought.
Right.
They're the afterthought
Right.
versus the positive men being the afterthought.
Right.
Look at that dynamic, man.
Right. Right. Talk a little more about that because that is exactly what me. There are three things that I think we've got to address. Right. Remand is not just about confronting the character of the individual Black men. That is our goal, right? Our goal, to your point a moment ago, is to confront the character and being of how we're showing up as Black men. That is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely what we do. The other thing that we do that many people don't know that we do is confront the character and culture of the institutions
Yep.
that make it difficult for Black men to show up at their highest and best. So yes, we're going to address the brothers and we're going to tell them, hey, there's some work that you got to do, my man, to show up at your highest and best. But when we talk to the institutions, we got to tell the institutions, listen, there are some policies, there are some ways in which media, there are some ways in which religion, all of those things can make it difficult through imagery to make it difficult for Black men to show up in the power of who we are as brothers. What are your thoughts about that?
No, absolutely, and that's what's so great about Remand. It's not saying, okay, we're just going to tell men to be better. And us having an understanding that, hey, in order for us as Black men to be better, we can't, yeah, we got to do our part, but then here's the other part that needs to be done that's going to assist us in becoming
Yes, sir.
the men that we're supposed and were called to be.
Yes, sir.
Because we can go out here and fight all we know we can go out here and fight the world every single day
Yes, sir.
to be, but this world, will beat you down as
Yeah.
Black men. It will beat you down, make you feel like you're that little snub of a pencil that you that you used to try
Yes.
and write with.
Yeah.
It will beat you down to that,
Yes.
make you feel less than,
Yes.
make you feel emasculated.
Absolutely, man.
And if you don't have those institutions that you're talking about, have the wherewithal to say, you know what, yeah, we have a part that we have to play in it, and we can aid them in being able to, do what it is that they need to do, because we see that these are a band of brothers who have come to the realization that they want to be better men.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
let's talk about that too, because
uh
here's the truth, Leroy. I've not met him. Well, that's not true. I was Gary Lie. One of the things that my mentor taught me is, Don, when you're about to lie, just interrupt the lie. Tell them that you was about to lie since you don't lie. Right? So I was about to lie. I was about to say that I have not met a man that doesn't want to be better. I have.
mm, hmm
But I will tell
hmm
you, by and large,
right,
brothers want to be better.
correct,
They're
absolutely.
tired. I can't tell you, man, how many dudes I sit with in discovery calls and conversations and listen to them cry.
hmm
They want to be better for their wives. They want to be engaged with their kids. They're tired of being broke, right? And so all of these different things that make it difficult for them, and they've made some poor choices. But here's the
hmm
deal: when a system makes a poor, I'm choosing violence. When a system makes a poor choice, all the world supports her.
Woo!
The
Yes,
world
sir.
supports her. And they codify it. Let's be clear, they codify it. If a sister, and I'm not coming for our sisters, so sisters, don't feel like I'm coming for you. I'm just trying to draw some comparisons. When a sister gets pregnant, Leroy, listen to me. When a sister gets pregnant over and over again, they have codified and created policy to make sure mom is supporting,
Correct.
right? The way that they treat us is we don't need to support you. Just go to work. And
Hmm.
we're gonna take 75% of your pay. Right? That's the reality. That's the reality. So instead of supporting black men, instead of finding ways to support dads by giving him, some tools, by yes, checking him, stepping to him, making sure that he understands there is a side of the fence that you have to make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to do, but also stepping to politicians and saying, you can't keep locking us up. You got to make sure that we have some means of education, right? We got to make sure that when you're talking about child support, that we also talk about visitation, that you got to make sure that you're not just that sisters cannot just, and this is a hot topic, and I know sisters don't like to hear me say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Why? Because it's International ReManned Day. Right? I have a problem, and I say this with love. James Manning, what's up, man? Good to see you. I have a problem, James, with an institution that at birth gives an empowerment to mom and dad don't have no say. I got a problem with that. I got a problem with the fact that on day one, when a child takes his or her first breath, I got a problem with the fact that we are not equals as parents on day one. Because while mom says, well, I carried this baby, yeah, but it wouldn't be no baby without my provision to the process, without my deposit, right? So while Leroy, come on, man, it's International ReManned Day, bro. Come on. So I respect the fact that mom carries the child. Would I have a difficult time? And maybe you can help me because you give me a different lens through which to approach these issues, right? I just have an issue that dad's got to fight for rights and mom automatically is given rights. Hey, Lala. When I first met Lala, man, picked her up from the airport. I got out the car, Leroy, and shouted, "La la!" She said she was so embarrassed, bro. Hey, man, she, she was like, "Really? Is this who he is?" Yeah, absolutely. This is
Absolutely right.
this is who I am, right? So how do we navigate that, man? Because my whole goal is to elevate and empower just hood. She said, I'm just hood, right? Elevate and empower black men. Can you kind of talk about, am I missing it with that, man? Because I just genuinely want to see brothers treat.
No, and I don't think you're missing it at all.
Okay.
But I just think that it's and hey, I'm choosing violence as remand day. That's all I'm attribute all of this to. It's the system of
Yeah.
racism that we
Yes.
live in.
Yes.
It's created for that specific purpose.
Yes.
And even beyond that, we can even take it to men in general, like you said, because men in general, when it comes to the rights to their children, it's usually given to the woman,
That is right.
and it's had to have been earned by the man. Now, like you said, it's once that child is in this world, it's a different story than before.
Yes.
You know, it's a different story than before. And I do that's a challenging question because it places that particular way of thinking into the minds of those that create the laws. And
Oh,
and here, here's
wait,
the
don't rush past that, man. Don't rush past that. That is so important to dive into because as we start, and I don't want to go off on the rabbit trail, right? But
mm,
it's also a part of the reason why there's a part of Remand that addresses policy and politics,
correct,
right?
correct.
So we have to be involved, Leroy,
Yep,
with the political scene.
right.
We can't just, and we've got to start voting our interest as it
Hmm.
relates to who we are as Black men and the things that impact us. So go ahead. I just wanted to, because you made a point of those that create the laws don't look like us. Right?
Correct.
They don't,
Exactly.
right? So talk about that a bit, man.
No, so if those that are creating the laws and writing the laws don't look like us, and they don't look like women, the majority of of those in government in those positions of political power don't look like women. So you got to understand, like you said, you've got to understand your interest. You've
Yes.
got to understand what it is that you want to be able to get accomplished. And if we, as black men, want to stand 10 toes down on, well, we should be seen equal when it comes to our children. I want my kids with me just as much as, and deserve to have my kids with me just as much as she deserves to have them with her. Then what you doing, bruh? When's
Mm.
the when's the last time you voted, bruh?
Mm.
When the
Wait.
when
Come on, man. You're
the,
going too fast. It's
I told you,
only one day. We
we
got 24 hours. Well, we ain't got 24
bruh,
hours.
we throwing Mike Tyson straight.
we throw
We
Mike
throwing
because
straight right crosses like
because
Mike Tyson this morning.
when we talk about holding Black men accountable, right? You just brought a different element to that accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, did you vote?
Yep.
Bruh, when you did what, this gonna piss some people off, but it's International Remand Day. You understand? What did you vote for?
Four. Mm.
Right?
And I promise you, most of the brothers that even when they voted, if you asked them what they voted for, they couldn't tell you.
Right. And even if they could, now this is where I'm Gary Thor. I'm Gary Hook Leroy because Leroy and I disagree about this.
Yep, we go at it.
we disagree about this, right? And then we hug each other and like and we
we
name
do like we do like Joe Clark and what's his name and
and
lean on me. Girl, let's go get something to eat.
contrary to popular opinion, I'm the head nigga in town.
Now let's go get something to eat.
Let's go get something to eat, right? So here's the deal, Leroy. When we vote, if we vote, because you're absolutely right, right? When we vote, if we vote, and I'm calling every brother to vote, and I'm telling politicians that when a brother has served his time,
Yep.
it is double jeopardy for you to make that man serve his time and then not be able to vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. There are laws against double jeopardy. You can't penalize him forever because of something that he did 50 years ago. Right? Now, brothers, after you have restored, after we have worked hard and remained in our legacy division, because that's something that we're doing now. We're creating these different divisions: life division, leadership division, legacy division. In our legacy division, as we're talking about community and politics, after we fought for your right to vote, then my man, make sure that you are voting your interest. Now, here's what I mean by that, Leroy.
Yep.
And this is where you and I are going to fight, right? As we always do. But I'm not scared of you today. You understand? I'm not scared of you
That's
today.
right. You
I
know I'm gonna come for you. I know it's your remand and everything. I ain't scared of you. What Bernie said, I ain't scared of you.
ain't scared of you. So here's the deal, Leroy. We spend most of our time researching the issues of our sisters.
Mm.
Right? I'm a support, I'm a stand with my sister on this.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
spend
Mm-hmm.
most of our time researching the laws that impact young people.
Mm-hmm.
We spend most of our time
Woo-wee.
in an effort to talk about social justice. We spend most of our time talking about the quality of life for the LGBTQIA plus community. And we spend no time researching about the policies that impact us. Because if we did, we would not be voting as Black men in the way that we are voting. You understand? We would not be voting because if and sisters are, sisters are voting. I remember one sister told me uh, when Biden's administration came in, and I said, "Yo, I don't see no Black men in his cabinet." Right. So you remember they were rolling out all the people. They were just kind of
Mm-hmm.
announcing all the people that he would have in his cabinet, inner circle,
Right.
so on and so forth. I said, yeah, I don't see no brothers.
Yeah, I think it was one I can think of off the top of my head, the one brother.
One brother.
Yeah, the one, and it's the brother that was from Louisiana. I think he's still there. From Louisiana, real tall brother that was in Congress. That's the only one I can think of, to be honest with
But
you.
how many members of the trans community
Correct.
are there? How many members are Black women, white women, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So he has openly said, I'm committed to women. He
Right.
has
Right.
openly said,
Right.
I'm committed to gays and lesbians. Now, I ain't
Yep.
coming for that community. That's not my point. My point is this: when will a politician say, I am openly committed to making sure Black men are strong?
I got an answer for you.
Okay, come on.
I got an answer for you. Here's the thing, and it goes to what we were just talking about, black men. And here's the thing about politicians and everything like that.
Yes, yes,
Here's where you get that when we start voting.
absolutely, Leroy.
When we make our voice, and I tell people that when we make our voice heard
Yes,
by local, state, and federal
yes,
as black men,
yes,
they will come for us. They will come see us.
yeah. You,
But
you,
since we have the mindset, oh man, they don't ever do nothing for us. They ain't doing nothing for us. The Democrats ain't done this. The Republicans ain't done. Don't like us. This, that, and the other. I ain't go. What voting ain't going to change nothing. Voting hasn't changed anything. So why should I go vote? And of course, and you keep having that mentality and letting those other groups that you just talked about, what's the one thing that they have in common that they do, Donald?
they vote. They
They
vote
don't just they don't just vote. They vote in numbers,
in numbers, massive numbers.
massive numbers, and
Yes,
they come with an agenda.
yes,
I want you to tell the story because people need to hear that. The story when you asked was it a judge or was somebody who
yeah.
was saying you asked them about the policies
Yeah,
and what they told you.
I said to the judge, dear friend of mine, if I called their name, people in Delaware in particular would know it, right? Dear friend of mine, super dope. And I said to the judge, I said, um, this very issue this very conversation you and I are having, right? And I said to the judge, what's good? And the judge said, yeah, we have no plans for Black men, not one. We don't care. We do not
Don't.
care, right? And I said, And they were saying it not from a position of I don't care about y'all. They were saying it from the position of being a judge, watching the way the system works, being in the back room, boardrooms with all the conversations that are happening. I'm telling you, y'all not on the radar. There is no one thinking about ways in which we can serve and support Black men. No one's thinking about it. So it hit me. And a part of those of you that are watching, do me a favor, let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. I want to be able to say what's up to you. I just shouted out Lala. I shouted out James Manning. I shouted out Pastor Vance. Thank you guys. Lala, I want you to come on too. So when you can catch a break, I want you to come on if you don't mind. She may say, Negro, you ain't tell me. Because, boy, the sisters got these mouths, Leroy, that we you watching from Newcastle? Cool. Tell me what your name is because it just comes up Facebook user. Those of you
Yeah.
that are watching
Well,
by
you
Facebook, do me a favor. You can actually how does it work, Leroy? Does it ask them to
Yeah, I think just before when they come on, it'll ask them that question about, and they have to say yes to it so that
okay,
they can be, so, and it'll put and then all of the, their name will appear on there so that you
okay,
can
okay.
see who it is. But they got to answer yes in order for it to be able to do that. They can't just come in.
Got it, got it. So please do me a favor. Let us know. Tawan, good. Pensacola, Florida. What's up, hey James Manning? We need a ReManned chapter in Pensacola, Florida. So I'd like to talk. I'm not on here celebrating just to celebrate. We got to create a momentum. We got to create a movement of brothers who want to see other brothers better. Right. And so now, Leroy, this is you ready to fight?
Let's go. I told you, I got my gloves on the day, bro. Like I said, I did my Mike Tyson Ali walk this morning. So I'm ready.
Here go here go Marla. Can you see Leroy on your side? Can you see the comments from social media?
Yeah, I can't because I got my tablet down in front of me. So yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay, good.
yeah, it's on your page. I'm on your page there. So
Marla said, I'm not a dude. This is what I deal with, man, on a daily basis, right? So Marla said, I'm not a dude. What are you asking me? I'm where you are. She's the most difficult person in this world, right? Um, so I want you to come on, Lala, and talk about Remand Day. Talk about Remand Lady, which is something we're going to talk about a little more later on today, right? Um, the vision of Remand Lady, so on and so forth. So Leroy, this is what I'd like to see, man. Ready?
hmm
this don't cuss me out. This is what I'd like to see. I'd like to see because you talked about massive numbers, right?
hmm
This is the way that it is. And Marla said, "Now you need us." This is. Yo, man, I just, bruh, just pray. Just pray for me. This is the dilemma that we find ourselves in right now. And I want you
hmm
to tell me first of all whether you agree, and then tell me whether or not you agree with the remedy that I think is the only way to be able to address it. We have a Democratic Party, right, that takes for granted black votes, right? They don't have to work for black votes because black votes are going to come to the Democratic Party as it stands right now in droves because of the ways in which we have been programmed to vote. Okay.
You know
On
I'm gonna challenge you on that, but go ahead.
okay. On the right-hand side, on the right side, we've got the conservatives, the Republicans, those that have traditionally been known as the racist side, right? And because of that tag that has been placed on them, they ignore us because they said we ain't got a chance in hell for them to vote for us anyway. So they don't pay attention to us, right? So we've got one side that takes for granted because the Republican Party ain't got a shot with us. We just gonna do whatever we want to do. Take for granted that black people gonna vote for us. That's just the way it's gonna be. Then we got a Republican Party that says they ain't gonna vote for us anyway. We don't need to spend no money, no energy in talking to them, sitting down with them, because ain't nothing gonna happen. Here's what I see, and then I want you to push back on the idea. Well, do that first. Push back on what you heard me say that you don't agree with.
Well, the only part that I'm saying that I kind of need, and I would add to it,
Okay.
when you were talking about the Democratic Party taking us for granted, that is very true.
Okay.
And I don't disagree with that at all. But
Okay.
I think that black people go to that particular party
Mm-hmm.
not to be taken for granted,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
for the lack of the choice, the choices that they have. If I have the choice between someone who is reasonable in my way in thinking, that I
Yes.
can rationally have a conversation with,
Yes.
versus someone that, hey, they don't like me, they telling me they don't like me, and
Yeah.
they telling me I ain't gonna do nothing for you. If I have the choice between the two, which one would I rather be with? That's
James,
what I'm saying.
James
And
Manning said we got to make them come to the table for our communities to push a new agenda. I'm coming
correct.
right there, James, in a moment. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, no, and I like that. So we've got, there's that understanding that, hey, and I do like this, what you always say. Let's deal with the policies. Let's deal with the ideology behind both.
Yes.
What's your what? And I was going to say this. It's our responsibility to vote. It's the politician's responsibility to give you a reason to vote for them.
Say that one more time.
Yeah,
It's our
it's
responsibility to vote.
our responsibility to vote, and it's the politician's the responsibility to give you the reason why you should vote for them.
Got it.
Because if I give you the reason, if I tell you I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and that A, B, C, D falls in line with what we've been talking about, that can help me, that assists me, that benefits me, you give me a reason to vote for you.
Yeah.
If if you can't tell me the reason why I should vote for you, or you say I believe in A, B, C, D, and A, B, C, D isn't what I believe in.
Yeah.
Let's say, hey, one out of the four I agree with. I'm not gonna vote for one out of, just be one out of four versus three out of four or four out of four
Yeah.
reasons to vote for someone.
Yeah.
That's just me. Other people could have their way of rationalizing it and thinking it and all of those things. But that's how I look at the political
That makes sense.
the spectrum, and how we as black men need to approach it.
I
And
want to
need
I want to offer something that we need to do, man. And I'd
um
like to bring somebody on our Remand team to really deal with this. I want to create a report card.
ooh, bruh, you on to something. Keep
Yes, sir.
talking. Keep
Let's
talking.
let's create a report card that is specifically designed from Remand
Yep.
to um to rate how politicians are addressing black male issues. So, James Manning, if you would like to be, I don't know whether you are a part of the Remand community. The Remand community is called Remand, the Mecca for Black male empowerment. If you are not a part of that community, bruh, go to www ReManned community. In fact, let me create something for that. Go to remandcommunity.com and join that community. Every brother that watches today, go to remandcommunity.com and join the community. We got some giveaways that's going to be happening. I got a new book that's coming out, the ReManned book, The Spiritual Journey for Mastering Life, Leadership, and Legacy is coming out. It's going to be phenomenal. In fact, here we go. There you go, the ReManned book. So if you go to the remandbook.com, if you're in one of our programs already, you get the book for free. But if you are not, then you just want to connect with us, you just want to read the book, you want to dive into it. It is a how-to manual on being able to master these different areas, right? So want you to be a part of that. So we need to create a report card. Leroy, write that down for me, man. So that
Yep, I got it written down, bro. That has got to be that's gonna happen. That's
yeah,
got to happen.
yeah.
That's
Let's do that. So that our brothers understand, because when what triggered it for me is when you said they have to have a reason for us to vote for them. And I
right.
want us to be able to make educated decisions, bro,
Correct.
with regard to um okay, great man and great man, with regard to who we're voting for. And I have a feeling, Leroy, tell me what you feel about this. I have a feeling that we don't really know, and I think you said this earlier. I have a feeling we don't really know what we're voting for.
Yeah.
Right? I have a feeling that we in mass vote against our own interest because we don't, no one has provided this think tank, this conversation about black males. There's and I got several friends that are in the black male space, right? Mr. Fatherhood, Patrick Patterson, dear friend of mine, mentor of mine, really, right? So I shout out Patrick Patterson, great dude. David Miller, just solid brothers that I know, right? That are doing
Yeah,
great.
Dave is a good brother. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a
So
solid brother right there.
absolutely, man. In fact, I'm gonna text him and see if he can't come on a little later today too. Um, but at the end of the day, we need to create this report card, and we're willing to be the leading agency around this area. Um, Create a report card so that politicians understand we watching, like your votes in Congress don't really suggest you for black men, right?
Right. Right.
And now this is where you and I, this is where I want to push back on something that you said. I want you to
Okay.
talk a little bit more about it. Um, I'm not so sure. Now, I'm certainly not carte blanche in favor of the Republican Party. I am admittedly a conservative. I'm more conservative than I am liberal, right?
I think most of us are though.
Most of
I
yeah,
think
yeah. So right,
I really do believe that. I think
right.
most of us are when we think of the like you were saying when you think of the ideology, the things that we feel about certain ways. I think our ideology, our mindset is conservative. Now, whether or not that translates into the Republican Party that wants to portray itself as being conservative, that's a different story.
Now I don't know. This is you was doing okay. See you and I, you and I
Let's go. Let's
and
go, bro. Let's go.
again, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. So I'm not a Republican. The Republican Party has some issues that I have not been able to get past. Right? Democratic Party has some issues that I've not been able to get past. There are some racists in the Democratic Party too. Let's be real clear, y'all. Those
Oh,
of you who are
absolutely.
watching,
Yes, sir.
popular time, there are some racists in the Democratic Party as well, right? I like what George Bush called it. He said they have the soft bigotry of low expectations,
Mm.
right? They don't overtly, they're not overt in their racism. They just don't believe in you. They don't think you can accomplish. So because they don't think you can accomplish, what they do is give you a bunch of stuff to keep you controlled.
I told you, boy, you just choosing violence all around today, man.
What day is it, Leroy? What day is it?
I know it's Reman Day.
Man day.
International Reman Day, y'all. I want y'all to put it in the chat. Put it wherever. International Reman Day.
Absolutely, man. So because of that, and James Manning said this, and I want you to talk about this in a minute. James Manning said in social media climate, we vote for what's popular, not. And he said that's where we're going wrong. We're voting for what's popular.
Well,
Yeah.
no, and he's exactly right because here's the thing, and Malcolm said it so brilliantly years
Yes.
ago. The
Yes.
media is the most powerful tool
Yes.
that out here.
Yes.
Trust and believe it,
Yes.
y'all.
Yes.
It does. It gives you. It can be shaped. It can be molded. It can make you think something that is not really
Yes.
happening.
That's right.
That's how powerful this tool that we're on right now can be
That's right.
and is. It gives people this social media thing. While it can be a great tool that we use, but we can see, and I send you clips and stuff
Right.
all the time
Right.
about the way that these folks out here think.
Right.
And
Right.
we've got to be careful mindful of what we listen to, of what we watch, who we're listening to, because it affects us. And politicians know this better than anybody, bro. They
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely.
They know the power of a little of a of a little trailer or this clip or that clip showing this, showing that. It's
Absolutely.
intentional.
Absolutely. It's absolutely intentional. And because they've mastered it,
Yeah.
we are falling into the trap that we've really got to address at some point. I want those of you that are watching, do me a favor, share this, like this. We're going to be on for another 30 minutes, then we're going to take a break and then we'll come back. This is my guide. Can I tell y'all? In fact, Leroy, I want to talk to you off screen after this is over, then we'll come back.
Okay.
Can I just tell y'all that this guy here, there's a vibe and energy that we have when we have conversations that is unmatched,
Yeah. You're right,
right?
bro.
It, it just is. And so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it out here now. Put you on the spot. I just text my lady a moment ago, waiting on her response.
Before you say that, he my big brother, even though I'm older.
Yeah, but here's the deal, man. Um, I value what you bring to my life, to the ReManned project, to the conversations that we have. Like, you give me a different way to think. Uh, I many times go away thinking the same way that I came into the conversation, but I can never leave your presence without you pushing on something that I say that makes me a better man. Right.
Mm.
So this is what I want to offer you. This is the first time that I've ever said it. It's right here on ReManned Day. Leroy McKenzie, I want you to be a permanent co-host of Grown Man Shit. And I just text my lady. I said, "Babe, what are your thoughts?" She's already said. She said, "Y'all got a vibe. Y'all got a vibe." So she has said that some time ago, and I was like, I don't know whether I want to co-host, quite honestly, but I just enjoy the perspective that you bring. In front of everybody, Leroy, I'm just going to turn my back and just wait for you to respond. In front of everybody, I want you to tell everybody whether or not you're willing to be a permanent co-host on Grown Man Shit. And I want you to respond by saying, Donald, I'm willing to be a permanent co-host. And I need you to say the name of I need you to say the name of the podcast, Leroy. Don't act like
Oh my
Leroy. Are you willing to be a permanent co-host of the Grown
god!
podcast? I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
You know that the answer is yes, absolutely. I'm so
Yes. Guess what, Leroy?
no, you know that ain't happening. You know, I will be I'm more than honored to be a co-host on
Man,
the grown man with podcast with my boy, my man, Donald Morton.
that's what's gonna be
But
crazy.
he know he ain't gonna get that out of me though.
He, all the profanity I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to use. He's gonna be the guy. He's gonna say grown man. He's gonna give you grown man shit content. He's just not gonna say the word shit. That's just right. And for those of you that are tripping out that I say shit like, oh, I can't believe Bishop Morton's son. My mom knew I cuss. She knew I cuss. Oh, this is my boy. Hey Drew, I'm on StreamYard. I need you to come on, man. Are you in the restaurant? You driving? When you gonna be stationary? 30 minutes. I'm gonna send you a link. I want you to come on. It's International ReManned Day, June 1st every year. So I want you to come on and holler at the crowd. Okay, man. Peace. Yeah, man. So you heard it here first. Dr. Leroy is going to be a permanent co-host of what, Leroy?
we talking grown man stuff, y'all. We
Grown
talking
man
grown man
shit, right?
stuff.
So people say, boy, since your mom passed, you wilding. My mom knew everything about me. I haven't just started using insolent language. There's something about insolent language for me that is incredibly strategic. It is scientific. Leroy knows that I'm never cussing just to cuss. It's just not my style to do it.
Yes,
There
yes,
is a population of brother that can only be reached with my style.
yes,
It's just the way that it is, right? And
yes.
so man, thank you so much. I know I put you on the spot,
Oh no.
but it's absolutely great that you will be a permanent co-host of Grown Man Shit, and we can talk about the particulars offline
Okay.
and what that's going to look like. Okay, um, so this is here's my push, man. I'm not so sure that the Republican Party pretends to be conservative, right? I
Okay.
think the Republican Party is actually conservative. I
Okay.
think, I think that there are ultra wings of the party that are too far right, just like I
Mhm.
believe that there are ultra wings of the Democratic Party that are too far left, right?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
But you said something powerful that I really want to, and I want you guys to know that the Remand Project is not just a personal development and empowerment and cognitive and character development for adult Black males. We not just coming for the brothers, we coming for the institutions that make it difficult for a brother to be a brother in this country. That is the work that we do. We do not just the work of making sure brothers are solid, but making sure that as we do the work that brothers are solid, that we don't have institutions taking bricks every time we add a brick,
Yep.
right? So that's our piece. But here's my deal. You said it a moment ago, Leroy, in a way that's really important. You said that the majority of Black folk, and I have found this to be true. I have found this to be true. The majority of Black folk are conservative in our ideology,
Mhm.
even when we vote for the Democrat. And man, you got to help me. Like I understand when you say, hey Donald, what other choice we got, man? You know, what other choice we got? We got a party that don't like us, that's racist. And then we got a party that's going to embrace us, even though we don't necessarily agree with everything that's in their platform. I got an answer to that. And the answer to that comes from the very brother you just mentioned a moment ago, Malcolm X. But I want you to talk a bit about that tension, man, that tension that we live in, right? For people to say, I'm a black, but I can certainly not be called a black Republican because they, right? Somebody gonna
Here's
crucify me, man.
here's what I want you to answer for me if you can, because you say
Yes,
that the Republican Party is conservative,
yes, sir.
and I want you, first I want you to define conservative for people. Define what that looks like,
Yes, sir.
being a conservative, because I believe that there are conservatives on both sides. There's Republican conservatives, there's the Democratic conservatives. I think we're like you said, there's conservative people.
Yes,
So I
yes,
want you to describe that for people so that they can have a clear understanding, because most people do associate conservative with Republicans and
yes.
not conservative as as a person.
Okay, so these are the principles of the conservative movement that I believe in,
Okay.
right? Small government. I don't want the government in everything that I do,
Hmm.
right? I want to make sure that that the school system does not have a right to educate my child in ways that when my children were children, right? In ways that I disagree with. There are certain things that I don't think my child should learn, right? That, or at least, at the very least, that the school system should take it upon itself to teach my child sexuality, all those kinds of things that I believe is my responsibility, your responsibility as parents to do, right? Small government also says that we put in check a bit the IRS, which means that this overwhelming amount of money that we have to pay in taxes is problematic. The boys on the block, I say it to the boys on the block this way when I ask them whether or not they're conservative or liberal, right? They say probably more liberal, man. I said, yeah, well, um, let's say that you make $1,000 on the block tonight, and then in the morning, some guy named Sam comes and he's looking for 66% of what you just made, right? They're like, oh hell no. I said, yeah, that's taxes, right? So I'm for small government. I'm for at the very least, Leroy, a flat tax, right? A tax that doesn't tax me or you because we make more money than it does someone else that makes less money. I'm for the conservative movement that is pro-business, right? That is going to support you developing your entrepreneurial spirit. I'm for a conservative party that is supposed to be at least in name and ideology, pro-family, right? Both you and I believe in family. We believe in uh, marrying a woman, raising children. I know that about you, right? So we believe those are the things that I consider, because I believe in being a fiscal conservative, right? Which means that I'm not going to continue to spend more than I make. I'm not going to put myself in an overwhelming amount of debt, right? Those are conservative principles. So there, to your point, there are Democrats who are fiscally conservative, right? There are Democrats that are pro-family, but their platform is not that way. Their platform is all the way to the left of those things that I just mentioned. So when I talk about being a conservative, I'm talking about those things minus the racism, minus, right? I'm not talking about those things, obviously, right? I'm talking about those ideologies that I believe in as a black man who wants to make sure I can develop my business, who wants to make sure I can love my wife and take care of my family, who wants to make sure that the government is not all in my business, telling me what I can and cannot do. Those are the things that are important to me that are on the platform of the conservatives.
And see, this is why I like having these conversations,
Yes, sir.
because and I want people to understand them. And I tell people this, and I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but our former Lieutenant Governor Michael Steele. Um,
Absolutely.
is a staunch Republican.
Absolutely.
When you just talked about when you broke down that conservative
Yes.
Republican, that's him. To me,
Yes.
that's what I see
Yes.
when I think. But
Yes.
here's the difference between him
Okay.
and the others that we talked about
Okay.
that may be Republican, and the racism part of it and everything like that. Because I'd say the same thing to him. It's like, okay, well, the rest of your party is racist. They don't care about you. This, that, and the other. Why you even there?
Yeah.
And I get it because of those core principles that you just
Yes.
talked about. That
Yes.
would be the reasoning for him being there. And
Yes.
here's the thing that I always say about that I appreciate about former Lieutenant Governor Steele, and even the one with that we just had with and I never remember his name. Oh my gosh! But he's the second black lieutenant governor here
Okay.
in Maryland.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but they are people that I feel as if I could have this dialogue,
Yes, sir.
the same conversation with them
Yes, sir.
as a staunch Republican
Yes, sir.
that you and I are having here.
Yes,
And
sir.
say, you know what, there are gonna be some things that we agree on, there are gonna be some things that we don't agree on.
Yes,
But
sir.
look, we know at the end of the day, we're heading in we have the same mindset about what it is that we want to do for our people.
Yes, sir.
I'm good with that because
Yes.
people get the misconception. We do need to have us represented in both parties. Don't get that
Absolutely.
twisted.
Absolutely.
Don't get that twisted. We do need to have people in there. We do need to have the people fighting, like former Lieutenant Governor Steele,
Yes.
that will be in there, and it say regardless of how he knows that he may have gotten treated or that he's getting treated, whether they give ear to it or not. He's like, look, I'm going to be here, and
Yes.
I'm going to stand up for what I believe in because these are my core principles.
Yes.
I ain't letting go of them. I'm
Yes.
not letting go of this party
Yes.
that was a representation of that.
Yes.
And I feel as if this is what I'm representing within the party,
Yes, sir.
not what the other parts of the party represent.
Yes, sir.
So I totally get what you're saying. Totally get what you're
Yes,
saying.
sir. Yes, sir.
But let's not. I mean, and we on both sides of this, we can't ignore the far left and the far right. To say, and I
Yes.
tell people, you're gonna have people that just are extreme left and extreme right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
not where I am. That's not where you are.
Yes, sir.
Both of us are in the middle. You may
The
have
centrist. We're the centrist of the group.
yeah,
Absolutely.
the conservative Republicans. You have
Absolutely.
the kind of conservative Democrat, the moderate, I should say,
Yes.
moderate,
Moderate. Right.
moderates on the left and the right.
Right.
They're like, look, I believe in these core things like you just talked about. I don't know about the small government thing. I'm gonna be honest with you because that hasn't proven to work to me. That's
Well,
just my part.
it's not been tested.
How's it not been tested?
We continue to add to government. We continue to add to government. So
Okay.
anytime that there's been an approach to kind of make smaller government, to kind of shrink areas of the government, because remember, bruh, the biggest payroll that our country has is federal government.
Yeah, people might not know that. It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is. It is.
So at the end of the day, I just don't want everybody I want to be able to chart my own path in life. I don't
Well,
want anyone else to chart my path in life.
okay, and yes, and I agree with you there. But
Yes, sir.
here's the thing too. Here's what happens to me when you don't regulate things that go on. All of it. We talk about it in ReManned.
Yes, sir.
There has to be a regulation.
Yes,
There
sir.
has to be boundaries. There has to be barriers to
Yes, sir.
keep us within a certain. And this country is one of the. It's horrible at being a business. If the United States is a business, and it's horrible at that business, at being a business. Let's just keep it above. You and I both know if
Yeah.
we took that the if we took those the P&L statement of this government,
Yeah.
like you just said, the different departments and everything like that, and how they're being run, what they're doing, what they're not doing. It's a horribly run. It's a
Yeah.
horribly run company.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Without
Does
question.
that mean that it has to be smaller? I don't know if it necessarily. I think there are things that can be cut out that are being either misused or
Okay,
just kind of sitting there and not
okay,
being used. You know
okay.
what I'm saying? So to me, that's that difference because when I think about, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when I think about having smaller government, I think of I think of people being able to kind of run amok, do what they want to do. Oh well, I can do this because you'd have to give me an example of what you mean by smaller government. What does smaller
Yes,
government look like to you
yes, sir.
when it comes to that? Because I just think of there not being enough regulations, there not being enough um, systems in place in order
Okay,
to
so
be able to
let's do
make
it
us
this way.
run more efficient.
Let's do it this way, Leroy. Let me turn that question back on you. What are the absolute essentials for you
Mm.
that government that you say government? Because I agree with you that there needs to be boundaries, otherwise they'll run amok. I agree with that. So, what are the absolute essentials that you say have to be involved with government?
Honestly, I think my top. I'll give you maybe three or four.
Okay.
Top is military. We've got to keep that to keep us safe. That's just
Mhm.
that is what it is.
Now
Um,
now I'm gonna take them one by one.
uh-huh.
You know that military growth and empowerment is a Republican side. The Democrats say, let's shrink the military. Let's go in and negotiate everything. The Republicans said, hell no, we need muscle in the event
And
somebody crazy, right? So that is a Republican side. And I'm not a Republican. Hey, y'all, those of you that are watching, and I will say this over and over again because I don't want Republicans to say we got Donald Morton on our side. Hell no.
yep, because they'll use you in a minute, bro. They'll use you in a
Leroy,
minute.
let me tell you something that happened to me, and then I'll let you get back to points 2 through 4. Right? I was out having dinner, man, and a politician that I know was running for office, but we weren't even talking about politics. He just kind of walked up to me and said, "What's up, Dr. Morton?" I said, "What's up, man?" Shook his hand, and he said, and they took the picture. And before I knew, hey Leroy, before I
I
knew
know
it,
where you're
I
going.
was
I
on
know where you're
social media
going.
like Donald Morton endorsing. What?
Yep.
Boy,
Yes,
I
sir.
cussed his tail out.
Yes, sir.
Right. So when we talk about military, the military and its the size of military is a Republican issue. Now that is one area that Republicans want to be larger.
Well, and I'm gonna challenge you on that.
No, it's a fact.
No, no. What I'm saying is not in that it's not an issue with
Okay.
them,
Okay.
but the manner in which they use it. They use to me, it's used as a covering to be able to make themselves richer. I'm just gonna leave that
Okay.
right there. I'm
Okay.
gonna leave
Okay.
that right there.
Yeah, I won't
And
push back on that.
and here's the thing about military. When I think of military, I do think that it could be smaller. How many weapons? How many bombs do you need? Atomic bombs do you need?
As many as I can amass. Listen, I want you to think it's the same. Okay, so let me ask you this question. You get married, right?
Hmm.
Somebody breaks into your house. How many bullets you need, Leroy?
Well, I'm going to need as many bullets to be able to protect myself until the.
No,
But
no, no,
there's a
no, no,
difference
no,
between.
no. How many bullets, Leroy? If you
I
got
couldn't I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you how many bullets I need because I
okay,
could one bullet could take the person out. But
okay,
here's the thing about an atomic bomb.
yeah,
One atomic bomb taking everybody out.
absolutely, absolutely.
Taking ain't none of us here.
Ain't nobody living.
So I ain't nobody living.
Listen,
So how many of them do I need?
I'm gonna need about 10 million. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
so yeah,
I'm a,
I'm like, okay, so you can blow the world up 10 million times over. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And what? Because you gonna be gone because they got at least one.
yeah,
You gonna be gone.
right,
They
yeah,
gonna be gone. So
yeah.
that what the other 999 million gonna do for you? I'm just saying.
I'm a,
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna annihilate everything. That's why I could never be president. Leroy. I'm gonna annihilate.
We're gonna end this. We're gonna end this right now.
And that's why. That's why everybody was so nervous about Trump, bro. They were nervous about Trump because they knew that dude was unstable, man.
Dude, and you can't have someone that is unstable having that kind of power.
But here's the deal. So it goes back to a point that you made a moment ago, right? All
Mhm.
jokes aside, it goes back to a point you made a moment ago. There are checks and balances in place, boundaries in
Correct,
place.
correct,
Where you
correct. With
can't
that,
just
yes,
go
absolutely.
rogue, right? And just push a
There
button.
should be checks and balances in
Yeah,
place, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But there are. I mean, particularly around that issue,
but
there
that,
are
yeah,
checks and
yeah, I do
balances
agree with that.
in
Yeah,
place
absolutely,
where
absolutely.
no president can just push a button and
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
wrap.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely.
what's 2 through 4? So you said the military.
Yeah, the military. Second is education to me. I think education.
Mm,
It is this country's responsibility to educate those who are not can't afford to have the parochial private education. Everybody's not privy to that.
okay,
You
but
know,
so you got the Republicans that would argue this. We attempted because I think I did a remember Waiting for Superman?
say it
You
again.
that documentary, Waiting for Superman? It was about
Mm-mm.
education in Jeffrey, Canada.
It sounds it sounds familiar. It sounds familiar, but I don't remember it
You
though.
should check it out. It was all
Okay.
about this charter school in New York, right?
Yes.
That Jeffrey Canada developed, and how many young people in urban spaces were attempting to kind of get into this school because its outcomes were
Yep.
phenomenal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what the Republicans said is this, and I'm interested in what you would say to this, and then we'll take a break at 12, man, and then we'll come back a little later in the
Okay.
day because it's International Remand Day. And I've been throwing bombs. I ain't been the only one throwing bombs, though. Leroy been throwing bombs too. We've been throwing
Yeah.
bombs. We celebrating Black men today, bro. We're proud of you. You may not have making all this, taken all the strides that you want to take. May not have made all of the achievements that you want to make, but listen, you still here. There's still time. I'm proud of you. And if nobody else in this country and around this world has said to you that the potential in you is brilliant, which is in fact what they're scared of. The potential in you is phenomenal. I want to tell you, as the chief visionary officer of ReManned, that bruh, you got the goods. You were created by God with all the goods, all the giftings. Our job is to bring that out of you, and at the same time to make sure that institutions don't get in your way. We believe that if institutions just get the hell out of your way, you'll get everything that is supposed to happen will happen for you. You let you take your destiny in your hands, right? Um, so we'll check out in a moment. But what we have is a Republican Party that says we'll provide vouchers. We got you. We understand they so believed that the educational system, and I have seen it firsthand, bro, where the educational system in our country is whack. It is not producing the outcomes that we want.
Correct.
And
Correct.
because it's not, and because it's so difficult to change, Leroy,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
system, the way that it's set is difficult to change. You can't get rid of a bad teacher, right? The way that is set up, even for students that have IEPs, individualized educational plans, those students, the way that they are even getting rid of students or putting them in suspending them, suspension rates are crazy. Like the way that it's set up is not conducive for us. And so rather than try to fix a system that has proven to be impossible to fix, the Republican Party says, let's identify the stellar institutions and let's support urban students, give them some paper, and let them go somewhere where they're going to thrive. Tell me what's wrong with that.
Well, here's the issue that I have, and I've had this conversation with brothers before when it comes to charter schools. Do I like them? No. Do I agree with them? No. And I know the one brother. There's a personal brother that's a part of and I don't know if he was on when you came on with Black Professional Men, Edwin Avent.
Okay.
And he and I had, and we were having a conversation about this. And he said to me, and I agree because we had asked this very question about charter schools, and I said I don't necessarily agree with them. I said because here's what happens. I said, and he said, well, what do we do? And I get what he said. He was like, this is how we do our part, you know. But here's the issue that I have with charter schools. It takes the best students out of the public school system, out of the system, and says, "Hey, we're going to put as many as we can into this better system, and to with the rest of them."
Say the word, Leroy. Say
The rest of y'all just gonna have to fend for yourselves because we're not gonna put the money into it. We're not gonna put those necessary tools into it. We're not even going to give you the professionals that you need in order to be able to do what
Leroy,
we need to
here's
do.
my pushback, black man. That's what you got now.
Exactly,
That's what
exactly. So here's the thing: if you take those better students, and I've had the benefit. One of the greatest things that I tell my mother that she did for me and my sisters was from kindergarten all the way up to middle school. I went to a private school, went to a Seventh-day Adventist school.
okay.
Best foundation I ever had in my life.
Yes, sir.
It gave me everything that I needed from a foundational point,
Yes, sir.
educationally, spiritually, all of that.
Yes, sir.
And then high school, I went to public school. I went to a public high school. My dad was a public school teacher. He was a
Okay.
phys ed teacher,
Okay.
coach, all of those things.
Okay.
So I know the system.
Yes.
And the system, I've said the system needs to be just totally blown up, brought down, and rebuilt. And is that going to happen? No, that's a monumental task.
Right.
We know that's not going to
Right.
happen, and we
Right.
know that the system is broken.
Right.
Let's be real about it. The
Right.
system is broken. So what do you do with a system that's broken with kids who have to still come through that system that are left
But
from
but
the good ones that you've taken out?
but it okay. So I'm not so sure that the only way to govern charter schools is to take the creme de la creme out of those public schools and put them in. I think that there is a way to provide this opportunity for all students. And it would require, because the problem that I have is that I don't give a damn what happens to the public school system. I don't care. I care about the students that every single year, Leroy, until we do something about this, we're having students
Yep.
failing,
Yep.
right? And both you and I know that the system as it currently exists is producing graduates who can't even read.
Yep.
Right? So where in the world, Leroy, where in the world do we continue to fund an institution that is giving us that kind of result?
Okay. So here, and I hate to answer a question with the question
Then
because
don't.
you're saying no, because you're saying no, you're saying that you don't care about the system, but we've got to understand that there are kids in that system that are being
No,
destroyed.
I care about it. That's my point. You and I are saying
No,
the
but
same thing.
if you take the funding away, what happens to those students?
I'm not saying take the funding away. I'm
What, okay, what'd you just say then? Because I must
No,
have
no,
misheard you then.
I'm saying that there are schools that are proving to give us better outcomes.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm saying that what the federal government has said, those on the more conservative side have said, Let's develop a pot of money where we can give vouchers to those students so that they can go to a place where their educational abilities are going to be far more realized than than what's happening in the current school system. And
And
if
I
we
get
don't
that.
do it that way, Leroy, this is what happens. Let's say that you produce a child tomorrow. Those of us that have had our children go through the school system, bruh, like parents are like now, like do something now. Do
Yeah,
something before my child gets there, right?
yeah,
Because
and
all
and
this
I
tinkering
agree.
around with the way that the system works, and y'all not really going to do anything about the system. All that, miss me with that.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with you there.
Yes, sir.
And that's the conversation that me and Edwin had. I said,
Yes.
so Edwin, and he has a charter school for young black boys.
Okay.
It's specifically his black, because he was one of the founders of Black Professional Men,
Okay.
and his oh sorry,
Yeah.
you gotta pay the bills.
Hey, Leroy, let me pay the bill. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be right back after these messages.
The ReManned Project is a coaching and consulting firm specializing in personal and leadership development for adult black males, seeking to break the vicious cycle of missed potential so that they themselves transform their personal lives, their sense of leadership to their families, and their legacies that they want to leave for business and culture. We destroy this cycle on two fronts. We confront both the institution and the individual. We address the institution because, according to the statistics, black males are under assault and are targeted for extinction in ways that their white counterparts are not. We are over incarcerated and undereducated. There are systems in place, political systems, media systems, and religious systems that serve as intentional, or some say unintentional, barriers to the black male's advancement. As a result, we work to raise public awareness about issues confronting black males, promote healthy and positive images about black males, curate spaces to share information and resources about programs, services, and support for black males, support knowledge creation and dissemination around these issues, and provide a forum for black males to both speak and act for themselves. We address the individual black male because we cannot avoid personal responsibility. We are now overmothered and underfathered. We make bad social choices, and we avoid responsibility for getting ourselves out from under the social plight that we face. We will develop the moral compass and character necessary to face the adverse realities that are faced in everyday life. We live by the premise that even that which is not our fault is still our responsibility. In 2019, we answered the call to transform the culture one man at a time. Our society, our families, and men in particular are in a state of crisis. And the goal of the ReManned Project is to curate the largest, strongest, and dopest community of black males in the entire world. We then create awareness and action against the institutional and individual impediments that exist against the foundation of our culture and overall society, which is the black male.
I'm I'm
Leroy!
I'm feeling that, bro. I'm feeling that.
It's
I'm feeling that.
International
Yeah, yes,
Reman
sir.
Day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy International Reman Day,
Yeah,
y'all.
man.
Yes,
Happy
sir.
International Reman Day to you too. This I'm with my boy Leroy McKenzie. He is the chapter leader for Baltimore, Maryland. Dope brother. I'm really proud to know him, and I'm honored to be in his life. And so we got about 13 minutes, man, before we take a break, going to do some lunch. Then we can come back probably at 3 because
Okay.
I've got a session with one of the brothers at 2. Um, Leroy, so we've talked about two things in particular, right? So again, uh, great perspective that you have as it relates to look, Donald. If we, what does it mean for the most marginalized of those schools if we take funding away from those schools? And the truth is, to my point a moment ago, and I think you would agree because you know the system better than I do. And the truth is that every school, every public school is funded by the neighborhood the school is in.
Correct.
There
Yep.
is no
Yep.
tax base there, then
Yes.
there is no ability to have some of the
Correct.
things that the more affluent communities have. That's the way that it's
Correct.
already set up,
Yep.
right? So being able to get a student in a greater environment with greater facilities around greater minds where they can sharpen their minds, for me, is the way to be able to deal with that. And the only way that I see that is through charter schools.
Well,
So yeah, that's kind of my position on that.
real quick, and then so we can get the last two before we get out.
Yes.
But I'm gonna give you a personal example of what we
Okay.
were just talking about with the charter schools versus the public schools and everything like that.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm not against us having the ability to be able to get access to more.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll show you where I'm going with that.
Okay.
But I think it can be done. It can be done kind of either way. But I think it has to do, like you were saying, it has to do with the funding. What are you
Yes.
doing with the money?
Yes, sir.
Because we want to give you in order to get the access to the money. If you're going to do the right thing with it, Edwin and his school and charge, they're doing the right thing with their money. They're doing the right thing with those students. They're preparing, getting these young men ready for high school, ready for college, to be great young men, to
Yes.
be great black men. That's
Yeah.
what I love about it.
Does he have an
But
all boys school?
say it again.
Does he have an all boys school?
Yeah, it's an all boys school
Wow.
specifically for, yeah, because it came out of the development of his black professional men, ensuring the future of the African American male. So
Got it.
everything that he's done is tied to that. That charter school is specifically for young black men to be able
Got
to
it.
grow up in an environment, like you just said, that is conducive to them learning, being educated, and them being the best men, becoming the best men that they can become in life.
I love it. I
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
it's phenomenal. And the sad thing is, they were even trying to shut down his school, bruh, because it was performing at that level that we were talking about.
Who was?
The city.
What's the city? What's the city's leadership?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Baltimore.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly
sir.
my point.
Yes, sir. So
Exactly my
you've
point.
got to have those people. But here's the other side of someone who didn't have well, I had the charter school up to middle school, because what I went to was a parochial school. It was a seven
Yeah.
day Adventist school, so it was a private school. But in high school, I meet a teacher, and of course, going to school back then was a lot different now. Teachers were a lot different back then than
Yeah.
they are now. But
Yes.
I will say this: those teachers of today are our age, bruh. So who's to blame?
Yes,
That's
sir.
all. I'm gonna leave that there.
Yes, sir.
But I meet a teacher, and I love her to death. She is my second mom, Miss Jean Reagan.
Okay.
Jean Reagan. She was my Algebra 1, Algebra 2 teacher.
Okay.
She gets me into, she sees me, she used to always pick on me in class, make me stay after school, and would bring me home because I lived not too far from her. But she took this young boy that didn't know who he was or anything similar to that,
Yeah.
and said, you know what, I'm going to, because I see the potential that you are, I'm going to pour into you. And she got me into, and I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, the Upward Bound program.
I remember Upward Bound.
Yeah, that Upward Bound program was one of the best programs that the city school system could
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
for those of us that were in the system that couldn't afford to go to a private school, but
Yes, sir.
still were good students,
Yes, sir.
and to give us a step up. Got me into the program my 11th grade year, and I mean, was able to just flourish because she took the time
Yes, sir.
to be able to nurture this young black boy
Yes,
who
sir.
was in the school system, got good grades, did well, but wasn't would in all other terms, I wouldn't have gotten into the charter school.
Yes, sir.
Because I was at the lower level of the honor roll. I
Yes,
was
sir.
like that 85. We were getting in. But so I wasn't the top student, but I wasn't the I was definitely one of the smartest students in the classroom.
Yes, sir.
You know, but not the smartest, but my sister was the smartest, but I was somewhere down there in the
Yeah.
middle
Yeah.
because I was going to work hard. I did what I was supposed to do. I listened to my teachers. I was that student.
Yeah.
I was a positive, great student. So what do you do with that student that's stuck between can't get into the charter school, but is a good student? You don't want to see that student, fall to the wayside. That's my
You
thing.
you
That's
you
my thing about that.
you continue to fund ancillary programs like Upward Bound,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
absolutely,
The
absolutely.
answer for me is, and this is just me, man, right? The answer for me is not to pour money into a failing institution.
Hmm. And I
What
get what you
you
mean.
just
I get
what
what you
you
mean by
just
that. I know what you're
testified
saying.
of, Doc, is you just testified not of the school system. You just testified of an individual teacher. Like I had one, Miss Yvonne Jensen.
Yeah,
Miss Yvonne
yeah.
Jensen was my English teacher. She was my mom's English teacher, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, and so Miss Jensen cared.
Yep.
She was a black woman who made sure that I did what I was supposed to do. If I didn't, she would call my mom, and my mom would answer her call because she would check my mom, right? So Miss Jensen was the greatest teacher of my career.
Yeah, yeah.
I happened to go to a school, Howard High School, that was named after the same general that Howard University is named after. Same guy, right? So,
Really? Oh
so we
wow. Okay.
environment. Howard High School was also the only black school in Delaware that we could go to at the time that my mom went to school, right?
Okay.
So we
Mhm.
had caring teachers, so on and so forth. But when you have a system that is not specifically designed for Black empowerment and advancement, when you have a school system that couldn't care less, the teachers couldn't care less in the ways that our teachers could back then.
Yeah.
They don't care like that anymore. You have to have ancillary programs like Upward Bound. You have to start schools like Delaware State High School, which is now attached to Delaware State University. Got to
Oh,
have
okay.
things like that, and you've got to have charter schools like your dude's school that give us a chance. I'm
Yeah.
not going to support us continuing to throw money at institutions that are not doing right. You mentioned that a moment ago, right? There are charter schools that are not doing right with the money. I get that. But you
Hmm.
have a whole government system that ain't doing right with the
That's all right. Yeah. And here's something that a friend of mine, we had this conversation some time ago, but and I love our intellectual conversations too. She said, Leroy, she says, here's the thing about the educational system. The educational system, when it was built, when it was created, was for industrial revolution. It was built to get people educated enough to be able to come and work in factories,
got it,
work in
got
jobs.
it,
That's what it was
got it,
created for.
got
That's
it.
what that system was created for. She said, we're in a time now where the educational system needs to be revamped in such a way that it adheres to the digital revolution,
Yes, sir.
where there's a different way of teaching
Yes,
the
sir.
students of today.
Yes, sir.
We the way that we were taught, yeah, the information may need to be the same, but the way that it's taught
Yeah,
needs to be, the approach has to be different.
yeah,
And the way that the school, the educators that are part of the controlling of how the education gets disseminated needs to be fixed.
yeah, yeah,
That because the truth be told, we can have all the policies and all of the educators that we want, but if we don't have the right ones, like I forgot the name of the teacher that you said, if we
Yvonne
don't
Jensen.
have them, yeah, if we don't have a Miss Reagan type that are in the system that care enough about the students. The system, we'll do what we need to do with that. But you need to have the people, the educators that care about the system and the way, and give them the tools that they need in order to be able to do what it is that they need to do to be able to reach. It's not just communicating with teachers. And
Yeah.
I got this from the book I read by John Maxwell. It's not just about communication; it's about connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
The public school system does not connect with
Yeah.
its students of this day
Yeah.
and time.
Yeah. Agreed, man. Agreed. Give me the final two, Leroy, because we out of here in 2 minutes.
Yeah, the final two is jobs and then business. Like you were saying, we need those two areas. If we had the military part, that's just the protection. But if the foundational piece is education, we're able to get jobs, and we're able to have businesses, or we're able to work for businesses. Like with ReManned, part of us is about being entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And if we're in the position to be able to hire people that are
Absolutely.
educated,
Absolutely.
then
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
businesses more
Yeah.
efficient, and our businesses,
Yeah.
be able to have those hire those that are more efficient in the businesses that
Yeah.
we run.
Without question. Hey, man, this has been a dope 2 hours. Bro, we got a lot said.
Yeah, yeah.
Leroy, what day is it, man?
It is International Reman Day.
Yeah.
Y'all say it with us. International
International Man Day.
Reman Day.
Absolutely.
All day.
This is the place. This is what we call the Mecca for Black male empowerment,
I
right?
love that.
This is the gathering spot, the Mecca for Black male empowerment. And there are some phenomenal things that we got coming up, some things that I've been really thinking about and dreaming about. And Leroy, we'll get a chance to talk offline before we come back at 3. You
Yeah.
good to come back at 3?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
good. I'm good.
We'll be back at 3. I got some sessions that I've got to do between now and then. But y'all, thank y'all for hanging out. Tell your folks, I'm talking to you. Tell your folks we will be back at 3. Grab your brothers, grab your friends, grab your pappy, grab everybody, right? And tell them that it's International Reman Day. They're gonna say, "What the hell is Reman?"
I know, right?
Yeah. Reman.
What that got to do with me?
What that got to do with me? Reman is the space where you can connect and network and grow business and love your wife, and all of the things that make us strong Black males can be found inside ReManned. I'm so proud of ReManned and proud of brothers like Dr. Leroy McKenzie, who is developing the chapter in Baltimore, Maryland. Cedric Nelms in Los Angeles, California. He just graduated with his master's.
Yeah, he did.
And so I'm excited. I'm excited for him. We got chapters we got some things about to happen in not Douglasville, Georgia. Another part of Columbus, Georgia. That's about to happen. A new chapter is about to be developed in Columbus. I'm gonna talk with my man about Florida. We're gonna flood the world with ReManned with a bunch. Why? Because the brothers that are here understand that it ain't about them. It's about the culture. And we can complain all day about what's happening, or we can do something about it. Leroy said, he smacked you all in the mouth. Leroy said, he said, miss me with the complaining if you don't vote.
Yep.
Right. So we got that conversation that's coming up at 3. A bunch of other things coming up at 3. I need you to be back here on YouTube, on Facebook. And I think I may broadcast to LinkedIn. I think that might be
Okay.
good to
Okay.
broadcast to LinkedIn so that we can
LinkedIn might not be ready for this.
right. Because a part of why I want to address LinkedIn, and then I'll play our video and then we're out of here, is those that are entrepreneurs on LinkedIn, those that are CEOs. I want to know why you're not hiring Black men.
Yep. Yep.
right? We
Absolutely.
talk about equity and diversity, equity and inclusion. I want to know why Black men are not included in the conversation of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So when
Well,
we talk
yeah,
when we
we'll get into definitely because I definitely want to answer that one. But
yeah,
continue.
so when we talk
Yeah.
about cool words like diversity, equity, and inclusion, okay, but I want to know why Black men ain't included in that conversation. Why usually the LGBTQI plus community is included, women are included, but we don't talk about Black men in that conversation. And I want to make sure that ReManned brings that to the highlight. I'm gonna start flooding the timeline with Black men. We got your back. If nobody else got your back, we got your back. Let me see what comments.
Yeah. You got any that
Somebody
you want to leave
said
us?
Eastern Standard Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's probably Drew. Um, Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back at 3 o'clock and be ready to pour into you guys again. Hey, Leroy McKenzie, let me show you what this is about, and we'll be back at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Here we go.
International Remand Day.
International ReManned Day.
The ReManned Project is a coaching and consulting firm specializing in personal and leadership development for adult Black males, seeking to break the vicious cycle of missed potential so that they themselves transform their personal lives, their sense of leadership to their families, and their legacies that they want to leave for business and culture. We destroy this cycle on two fronts. We confront both the institution and the individual. We address the institution because, according to the statistics, Black males are under assault and are targeted for extinction in ways that their white counterparts are not. We are over incarcerated and undereducated. There are systems in place, political systems, media systems, and religious systems that serve as intentional, or some say unintentional, barriers to the Black male's advancement. As a result, we work to raise public awareness about issues confronting Black males, promote healthy and positive images about Black males, curate spaces to share information and resources about programs, services, and support for Black males, support knowledge creation and dissemination around these issues, and provide a forum for Black males to both speak and act for themselves. We address the individual Black male because we cannot avoid personal responsibility. We are now overmothered and underfathered. We make bad social choices, and we avoid responsibility for getting ourselves out from under the social plight that we face. We will develop the moral compass and character necessary to face the adverse realities that are faced in everyday life. We live by the premise that even that which is not our fault is still our responsibility. In 2019, we answered the call to transform the culture one man at a time. Our society, our families, and men in particular are in a state of crisis. And the goal of the ReManned Project is to curate the largest, strongest, and dopest community of Black males in the entire world. We then create awareness and action against the institutional and individual impediments that exist against the foundation of our culture and overall society, which is the Black male.